No government wants unregulated stablecoins.
In this interview, Raoul Pal talks about the relationship between stablecoins and governments. Bitcoin holds no fear for the world's government. It is not anonymous, it is very traceable, it gets seized all the time, and hardly any bad guys use it for nefarious purposes. Bitcoin has no government quaking in its boots. What does have them scared are stablecoins like United States dollars coin, USDC, and Tether, USDT. Bitcoin will not, as far as they care, create any systemic threats to the world economy. Those threats come from stablecoins and you might say from the programmable chains like Ethereum that support them. There is no future for private sector money as far as the financial regulators of the world are concerned. They won't say that, but if you ask them, is there a future for private sector money, they simply will not answer. If you think about it, you can see why a stablecoin can be the worst nightmare for the regulators of a country's economy. A stablecoin is an unwarranted parallel currency that is issued for the benefit of an entity that gets the value of the seigniorage, and that entity isn't the government. You might say making stablecoins is a license to print money without a license to print money, and the potential for trouble is impossible to predict. If you print your own $20 bill, you are in big trouble, so why should printing stablecoins be any different? However, it is worse. A stablecoin can be programmable money that can do more than just be a means of exchange. You can simply dream up facilities for programmable money, and before you know it, you have money that is more useful and powerful than the day-to-day currencies we use right now. For example, it might deposit itself automatically to earn interest, or some such other deefy thing. Once you can program money, all sorts of risk horizons open up. Programmable money is clearly another level when it comes to what the future might bring to finance, taxation and economics, and government simply can't issue programmable money, not ever. Stablecoins represent the next iteration of money and governments can't go there. Why, you ask? Governments can never issue money that might do something they couldn't control. They cannot and can never risk the sort of issues of unintended consequences that crypto faces every day. They cannot risk bad luck or incompetence or being robbed, hacked or hijacked if they produced real programmable money, but of course the private sector can and will fall over itself to do so, if allowed. When people talk about central bank digital money, they need to realize money is already digital. It is digital centralized money, and it works really well, and its economic plumbing is understood. Stablecoins represent a risk to the whole stack, and while this was not acutely clear to regulators, they are not going to let it blow up in their face.
I think it's going to err towards, and I've always thought this, is no government wants unregulated stablecoins.
Right.
They want central bank digital currencies, whether they're private sector or state sector. I think there'll be a blend. Nobody wants this. So they will use this as an excuse. And, it's probably good for people like Paxos, and it's probably good for people like Circle, and it's not so good for Tether, and it's not so good for Terra. And, the problem is if we are borrowing somebody else's currency, then we have to play their game, whether we like it or not. It's their currency. So anybody thinks that, just because we've got some algorithm, it's not the Federal Reserve's currency, smoking crack.
I mean, crypto is importing the unit of account of the dollar, right? And so I do understand that take.
Correct. I mean, it's like the SEC quashed anybody trying to do synthetics. Because it's like,
I mean, this goes back to the role of a Bitcoin or an ETH or like a monetary asset that doesn't have an analog to the real world, and the value of having that in the crypto system and keeping us more resilient that way. Because in these cases, we are not borrowing the unit of account from any central bank.
Exactly. And I don't have an issue with stablecoins. I mean, I think they're very useful because we need to integrate from our, from the sovereign systems we live in to this digital Web3 world. And that's an integration tool, and it works very well. So I have no issue with that. But the key point is, if you own Ethereum or Bitcoin or others, you own them. It's not somebody else's liability. It's not their asset. I mean, the dollar, it became absolutely clear to the Russians that they thought they owned dollars as their own asset. They didn't. The US had lent it to them. Mm-hmm. It's like, you've got to realize what game you're playing here. And that's why, I think the stablecoin industry as is going to shift towards the highly regulated. And I don't really have a problem with it. Sure, we're all utopians and we'd love this other world, but we also need to be pragmatists. If we want this world to win, we need to realize there's some battles we will fight and others that we can't win.
I do still think it's a net win, even in that world of you get regulated stablecoins, because what are they ultimately settling on? It's crypto rails.
Exactly.
And where does the value accrue? It accrues to crypto. It's not a ban of ETH or Bitcoin or anything. If anything, like the assets that are underlying the stablecoin system become these more base crypto native assets. So it's still a win, even in that zone.
I totally agree.
So expect stablecoins to be the focus of regulation, and expect stablecoins to have a rough ride as various parts of the world try to keep them out of their financial systems. Yet which countries will prosper and which will fail in the new crypto economy will be settled by who can or will embrace stablecoins. Programmable private sector money is a powerful thing, and like all technical innovations, it cannot be uninvented. While many jurisdictions will try to regulate stablecoins into oblivion, others will not, and the ones that find a way to embrace them will benefit enormously. While programmable money will not be the future of centralized currency, it will be a big part of the future of money, and its enabling power will, like any other technology, be an economic multiplier. If you like the video, guys, please like and subscribe to the channel to receive the last news about cryptos and economy. See you next time.